Hello and welcome to this week's edition of BOI Weekly. I'm Ini John McCoy. Well, this week we focus on the medical sector. The National Association of Resident Doctors has noted that about 576 billion naira is lost to medical tourism annually, an amount that they say could have been invested in the development of the country's healthcare system. Well, perhaps this amount may be reduced with the operations of the African Medical Center of Excellence, which will be located in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The Bank of Industry is very much interested and involved in this, which is why BOI has partnered the African Export-Import Bank, King's College Hospital, London, and the federal government, as is evident at the groundbreaking ceremony of these hospital projects. This is Kabusa on the outskirts of Akpo district in the nation's capital, Abuja. Gathered at this groundbreaking ceremony of the first African Medical Center of Excellence in Nigeria are officials of the federal government, African Export-Import Bank, AFEXIM, the Bank of Industry and other partners. The groundbreaking ceremony, which is performed by the President, Buhari, is aimed at addressing the nation's challenges in the healthcare sector, particularly as it affects medical tourism. The arrival of these officials sets the tone for the event as the President and Chairman of the Board of Directors of the African Export-Import Bank gives an overview of the AMCE initiative and its impacts on the healthcare sector in Nigeria and Africa.
It is unacceptable that more than 300,000 Africans travel to Asia alone annually for medical services, spending over $5 billion US dollars each year. Nigeria accounts for $1 billion of that expenditure in Asia. Not only is the outflow of scarce African foreign exchange resources worrying, but the free export of African health data also poses a grave threat to continental security, particularly in this era of biological warfare and the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning to generate the good, the bad, and the ugly.
The medical advisor of the African Medical Center of Excellence and the chairman of King's College Hospital, London, highlights the essence of the AMCE project from inception to date and King's College Hospital's collaboration with AFEXIM Bank.
We have prioritized tertiary clinical needs of the population with a particular emphasis in the non-communicable diseases area, which has increasingly been seen both in incidence as well as in prevalence in Nigeria and the whole of the continent.
We want to have truly brilliant people. We want to deliver outstanding care for our patients. We want to be leaders in research, innovation, and education right across the world. And we also want to have diversity, equality, and inclusion at the heart of everything that we do.
For the Minister of Health, the proposed medical center is expected to address gaps in the nation's health sector, in addition to curtailing medical tourism.
If there's anything that we need in this country, is facility management. That's where we have a lot to learn. Here in Nigeria, we have many tertiary hospitals, and it is in the area of management, modern management, sustainability, that we are going to be working very closely with you to learn from your experience of over 200 years.
The managing director of the Bank of Industry, on his part, appreciates the federal government for creating an enabling environment for the Bank of Industry to thrive, as it disclosed that over 100 billion naira has been spent in the last 5 years to support the nation's healthcare sector.
Between African Export-Import Bank and King's College Hospital, London, to develop medical centers of excellence across Africa. I want to appreciate His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, for the support of his government in creating an enabling environment for the growth of the Bank of Industry and other similar institutions across Nigeria, which has given us the capacity to be able to take part in such a transformational project like this, which is aligned to our mandate. We at the Bank of Industry, we are very excited to be part of this project. Here on cardiovascular, oncology, and hematology, not only in Nigeria, but in the entire West African sub-region. The coronavirus pandemic has taught us that we must build capacity to cover various aspects of healthcare within the country. This will save us an estimated about $1 billion annually on what we spend on medical tourism abroad. The health industry is one of the focus areas of Bank of Industry because we believe that a healthy people will result in a healthy nation. Consequently, we have supported this sector with over $100 billion in the last 5 years. As I close, on behalf of the investors in this project, Afri-Exim Bank, Bank of Industry, GE Healthcare, NMPC, African Finance Corporation, we are pleased to be part of this transformational project that will literally transform provision of healthcare services not only in Nigeria, but in Africa. And I pray that the dividends that will come from this project will not only be in terms of a healthy nation or continent, but in financial success of this project to enable us support similar projects.
Speaking virtually from the presidential villa, President Muhammadu Buhari reaffirms the commitment of the federal government to the health of Africans and Nigerians in particular.
Of Afri-Exim Bank, representatives of King's College Hospital, London, members of the business community, senior government officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to preside over the groundbreaking ceremony of the Africa Medical Center of Excellence, Abuja, Nigeria. Today represents more than just the groundbreaking ceremony for a landmark hospital project that will significantly transform the healthcare sector in West Africa. Today also demonstrates the commitment of the Nigerian government and Afri-Exim Bank to the well-being of the African people and the recognition that the wealth of a nation rests squarely on the health of its population. Rising cases of non-communicable diseases in Africa are well established. Cardiovascular ailments, cancers, and hematological disorders have increasingly become matters of concern to public health cases. These ailments are now the highest contributors to the non-communicable disease mortalities, representing more than 81% of all the non-communicable diseases deaths in West Africa. The World Health Organization projects that deaths on the African continent attributable to cancer and diabetes are expected to rise over the next 10 years. The rising non-communicable diseases burden coupled with inadequate medical infrastructure on the continent threatens the future of our people. Right now, many hospitals in the West African region are underfunded, under-equipped, understaffed, and relatively inaccessible to most patients, especially from rural areas. Inasmuch as this represents an opportunity for investment in African healthcare, it has not necessarily translated into increased investment activity in the most pressing area that requires intervention. This problem is further exacerbated by the significant brain drain experienced by the continent. The flight of doctors and nurses to other continents has resulted in a significant gap between the required treatments for non-communicable diseases and available treatments and care. The above challenges combine to create a regional health market with poor access to critical services and low perception of quality of care available.
He speaks on the rising cases of non-communicable diseases. The president is full of appreciation for African Export-Import Bank and what they stand to offer Nigerians and the African race.
The government of Nigeria has partnered with AMCE Bank to develop the African Medical Center of Excellence in Abuja, which will provide world-class medical services at par with the world's best hospitals. The African Medical Center of Excellence, a 500-bed specialist facility, will provide services in the areas of oncology, cardiology, and hematology, and will seek to address the significant shortage of clinical care options in the West African sub-region. In addition to providing comprehensive care across the 3 critical care areas, the African Medical Center of Excellence will offer education services to develop talent and establish itself as a world-class research center in partnership with global institutions such as King's College Hospital and Christie Hospital in the United Kingdom. The success of the African Medical Center of Excellence will pave the way for future investments and partnerships in the sector while raising the local standard of healthcare and providing a blueprint for quality of services required to address Nigeria's and Africa's healthcare and economic challenges. The Africa Medical Center of Excellence represents a return to fundamentals and the understanding that there is no African development agenda without able-bodied Africans to execute on our vision of transformation. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the AMCE Bank and partners for their unfailing commitment to African continent and for the action-oriented approach to resolving the challenges that the African continent faces on the path to development. The African Medical Center of Excellence demonstrates that AMCE Bank is not only Africa's trade finance partner, but its development partner. I also would like to commend the Honorable Ministers of Trade and Investment, Foreign Affairs, the Federal Capital Territory, and Health for their tireless effort to ensuring this project comes to life. This was truly a team effort. I now have the honor to perform the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of the first African Medical Center of Excellence and direct the Minister of Health to cut the tape.
The President, the Chairman, and members of the board, the honorable ministers here, our royal father, and partners, Bank of Industry, G, AFC, and NNPC.
With his speeches over, President Buhari delegates the Minister of Health to conduct the groundbreaking ceremony and is accompanied by officials of Afreximbank, the Bank of Industry, and other partners.
Chairman, come on there now, beg. Yes, please leave the place. Bend down. I am. You don't do. This guy will put the block now. The one for the whole block. The only one.
By His Excellency the President of the Federal Republic, represented here by the Minister of Health, President Muhammadu Buhari, who is President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, on the occasion of the official groundbreaking ceremony of the African Medical Center of Excellence, AMCE project in Abuja, FCT, on Tuesday, 7th of December in the year 2021. I know what I will do when I return.
The thing is blocking us. The umbrella is blocking us. Just for a few minutes, please. Thank you, sir. Mr. President, move closer there. Go down now. Better size now. Hey! Cameraman! Guys!
You have to go and left.
Come right here, partner. Go down. Go down now.
Say something.
Well, on behalf of all the partners in this project, I would like to thank Your Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari for personally gracing this occasion, laying the foundation stone, and also unveiling the prayer. We thank the Honorable Minister, President, the Minister of Health, Dr. Buhari, for performing the foundation laying ceremony on behalf of the Excellency President, and also thank all the other ministers, including our landlord, who are here to witness this event. We now know that we have good evidence that the landlord was a witness to the foundation stone being done, and the land belongs to us 100%. Thank you very much. And I'd like also our partners, King's College and co-investors, Bank of Industry, AMCE, the National Petroleum Corporation, for joining us, as well as our consultants, the architects, project managers, medical advisors, and others. Working with us.
See the head of my lens now.
Thank you very much.
Let's go down now. You don't need to be here.
Beyond the groundbreaking ceremony, the Minister of Health reiterates the federal government's commitment to make health care available for Nigerians through the National Health Insurance Scheme.
First of all, there's a budgetary provision, which has always been not exactly the 15% in Abuja declaration, but if you add the investment in education, in training doctors and nurses, for example, it is actually more than the government investment in health, more than we presently speak of. And then the health insurance, National Health Insurance Scheme, which, if all goes well, will be soon signed into law, will allow the fiscal space for health to be increased and make more funds available. And there are various other initiatives that are to bring more financial resources into the health sector, which are under consideration.
Honorable Minister, how impressed are you about this particular project?
I'm very impressed because it is cutting-edge technology. The structure itself is state-of-the-art. The design is modern, fit for purpose. It's not a converted house. It's built exactly for purpose. And we bring together modern, cutting-edge equipment, top skills and knowledge. The President himself has always spoken about knowledge and skills repatriation. So if we are repatriating, and we know that among those who will come here will be Nigerians in diaspora who have these knowledge and skills and come here and make it available to Nigeria and also pass it on to others, because this will also be a training institution and a research institution. Then we have best value for this investment, which is entirely a non-government expenditure, except for the land which government has provided.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Well, that's it for this episode of the program. But remember that you can also be a part of the beneficiaries of the Bank of Industry. Just have a conversation with them by reaching out on social media or in person at any of their offices. I'm Ini John Mekwa.